Tatiana Navka, the wife of the Russian dictator's spokesperson, is demanding over 2 million euros in moral damages from the EU and is challenging the personal sanctions imposed on her following the full-scale Russian invasion. She claims the restrictions are baseless and violate her human dignity. However, Brussels has released direct evidence against the famous Russian figure skater.
Tatiana Navka is a co-owner of a company and real estate located on the Crimean Peninsula, which, as everyone knows, was illegally annexed by the Russian Federation. In other words, she supports actions that undermine or threaten the territorial integrity of sovereign and independent Ukraine.
Navka still conducts successful business in Crimea, which was annexed by Russia. Her enterprise mines pink salt near Yevpatoria. She is part of the Kremlin elite's inner circle, participates in all propaganda events, and openly supports Putin's policies and the invasion of Ukraine. However, despite her love for Russia, she still really wants to fly to Europe, where she has not been allowed since 2022. So she filed a lawsuit with the European Court to lift the restrictions. And she's not the only one. Ekaterina Ignatova is also suing, the wife of the head of the sanctioned defense corporation Rostec, which, among other things, produces the Kinzhal and Iskander missile systems that Russia uses to bombard Ukrainian cities. And Ignatova considers the EU restrictions to be unfounded. And this is the Mediterranean coast. Russian Deputy Prime Minister Tatiana Golikova would very much like to come here. She has 23 million euros worth of real estate here, which was recently seized by French law enforcement, and they have opened a criminal case against this modest public servant.
It's calmer and safer at home, and we will help you if anything happens.
In the Russian government, Golikova has long been responsible for healthcare, education, pensions, and helping people in general. But so far, she has only secured a high standard of living for her own family. This is her luxurious Villa Maigrana on the small peninsula of Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat on the French Riviera. It is also called the place of billionaires. Hollywood stars, oligarchs, and a co-founder of Microsoft live here. The Russian public servant and her husband, former Minister of Industry Viktor Kristenko, were caught red-handed when, after the start of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, they tried to hide their real estate by reselling it to themselves through offshore companies for 20 million euros. The deal fell through, and the money is frozen.
Shell companies and offshore accounts linked to Viktor Kristenko. The complex schemes seem unjustified, unless their purpose was to hide from tax authorities the origin of the funds used for the initial purchase of the Maigrand Villa, as well as the economic beneficiary of its sale, from a statement by the Paris Court of Appeal.
On the peninsula, Golikova also owns a hotel where Churchill once loved to vacation. In Spain, she owns an elite golf club and a villa with its own spa for 11 million euros. There are 2 more in Portugal. And now, while French law enforcement is investigating the facts of the government officials' illegal financial schemes, the Russian prosecutor's office and the investigative committee are silent. After all, this is a person from Putin's inner circle. France has announced the deportation of the former editor-in-chief of Russia Today France, propagandist Ksenia Fedorova. On right-wing conservative French channels, she pushed Kremlin narratives. All these actions demonstrate Europe supports Ukraine, and everyone who undermines our integrity and security is being held accountable and having their presence in the EU restricted. Anna Hershina, May Ukraine European Bureau Marathon, United News.